Zara stood on the edge of the avenue with a cracked plastic bowl, pretending not to want the coins she would take. The city moved like a storm, shoulders hunched, eyes straight ahead, everyone sprinting from one worry to the next. She kept her gaze low, because eye contact invited either pity or cruelty, and she had no appetite for either tonight. "Anything, sir. I haven't eaten today." A man in a slate suit didn't break stride. Wind from his passing tugged at her hair. Her stomach clenched. She was 25, but the asphalt had been aging her faster than birthdays. Footsteps slowed, not the quick, guilty stutter of someone fumbling for a coin. This was deliberate, measured. The man who stopped in front of her carried himself like sidewalks were laid to hold his name, tall, unbothered, the air around. Him didn't rush, it obeyed. "What's your name?" His voice was calm, not kind. Calm could be dangerous. "Zara." "Cade," he said. Cade Archer. His watch didn't need to announce its price. Everything about him did that already. Zara looked away. Rich men sometimes dropped money with one hand and insults with the other. She'd learned to refuse both. "Why are you here?" he asked. "Because I'm hungry. Because I have no one." The truth was simpler than the city made it. "How much do you need?" he asked. She should have said, "Enough for bread, enough for a room with a door." But something in his face made a lie feel smaller than the truth. Enough to change everything. A corner of his mouth lifted. "I like honest." He didn't offer coins. He offered something worse. "Be my girlfriend for 1 month." Her laugh died halfway out. "Come again?" 30 days, he said. "My family's celebration requires every son to arrive with a wife or a woman, destined to be one. I have neither. If I show up alone, my mother will turn it into a war. So we pretend. I pay you. You carry yourself like money doesn't impress you, because it shouldn't." "You looked across a city and chose a girl with a bowl?" she asked. "I chose someone who wants money more than she wants me," he said. "It makes you safe. You won't try to trap me. We both get out clean. And if your family finds out I'm not that?" "They won't. Confidence is richer than cash," he said. "Wear it right, and people stop checking labels." Zara studied him. He wasn't smiling like a man telling a joke. He was looking at her like an investment that could outperform. "If you pay me well," she whispered, surprising herself with how steady it sounded. "Deal." He slid a card into her bowl, paper among coins. "Come tomorrow." A laugh ripped across the sidewalk like glass. Nico, her ex, approached with a woman attached to his arm. Every inch curated. Sarah, legs like a secret and a smile like a dare. "So this is where ambition took you," Nico said loudly, to make sure the city attended. Zara's heartbeat stayed slow out of defiance. "Is this how you greet me, Nico?" He stared at her bowl like it was a punchline. "I left because your future was a rumor. I need a woman who matches my speed." She let him finish because cutting people off is a gift you shouldn't waste. "You didn't leave because I'm poor," she said softly. "You left because I kept getting up." Sarah smirked. "Cute." Zara held Sarah's gaze. "Today he laughs at me. Tomorrow he will price your worth against someone richer. When your man belongs to money, he belongs to the highest bidder." Sarah's smirk shifted. Nico's knuckles went white around his silence. Zara turned away before they decided on another attempt at cruelty. Dignity felt heavier than hunger, but warmer too. Night sank its teeth into the city. Cade found her curled against a shuttered shop, sleeping on cardboard like it was a choice. "Zara," he said, and she woke with fear first. Then embarrassment, then nothing at all. "You can't sleep here," he said. "I lost your address," she murmured, a little lie dressed as apology. "Then we start over," he said, and the words had a weight that frightened her more than the street. A black sedan ghosted to the curb. The driver opened the door like a ritual. They entered a world with doors that made no sound closing. Cade's place was glass and concrete, and a view that pretended the city belonged to him. Light lived in the floor and rose through the walls. Zara's breath left her like a secret escaping. "You live alone?" she asked. "Alone is the only way to hear what you think," he said. He guided her across the marble river to a guest room, larger than the last shelter she'd stayed in. Before she could thank him, heels clicked like clock hands counting down doom. Livia swept in. Expensive perfume, expensive anger. You didn't think word wouldn't travel, she said without looking at Zara. Your mother tells you to bring a wife and you fetch a shadow. Cade's jaw set. Get out. You don't mean that. I mean every letter, he said, cold enough to fog the mirrors. Livia's eyes flicked over Zara like a surveyor appraising land. You're temporary, she hissed, then snapped away, her contempt echoing off glass. The night pressed its face against the windows. Cade said, she's gone. For now, Zara said. She didn't tell him that women like Livia didn't leave. They regrouped. Morning wore soft light. Zara hardly recognized the reflection. The house had put her in, a woman who could belong anywhere. Cade's eyes lingered a beat too long and he caught himself. Confidence, he reminded her. Mother loves money more than people. Be the first. She'll forgive the second. Helena Archer could slice reputations with a glance. She inspected Zara like a diamond under a loupe. Clarity, cut, carat, cost. Zara smiled like everything in the room bored her gently. Cade backed her lies with small, precise truths, places he'd been, companies he knew, until fiction acquired a heartbeat. Welcome to the family, Helena declared finally, kissing air near Zara's cheek. Zara excused herself to breathe the sky. The garden outside was manicured into obedience. At the gate stood Sarah, arms crossed, surprise fissuring her face. You? Sarah hissed. What are you doing in my aunt's house? Your aunt? Helena is my mother's sister, Sarah said. This is family ground. Your trespass. Zara held the line. If Cade chooses me, your map is irrelevant. You were on the street begging yesterday. Today you're wearing a borrowed crown. I'll take it back. Sarah stormed inside. The kitchen hissed with oil and judgment. Aunt, Sarah announced, she's a fraud. I saw her begging last night. Helena went still, the room tightening around her. Is it true? She asked. Zara tried to pull a lie forward. It arrived late and breathless. I'm not from money, she said finally. And the silence afterward was an execution. Get out, Helena said. Cade hit the living room as doors slammed his future shut. Where is she? He demanded. Gone, Helena said. I sent her away. You dragged her to the door without speaking to me? I protected you, Helena snapped. We marry equals. Cade laughed without humor. Then marry yourself to your reflection. The rest of us are human. He found Zara walking like she was carrying a house on her back. Don't go, he said, but she had already left in her head. I don't belong, she whispered. Your mother is right. No, he said. She's right about money. She's wrong about value. I didn't ask for a month anymore. I'm asking for forever. The word lodged in her like a spoonful of fire. She nodded because her body agreed before her mind could argue. Days became a truce. Livia returned once, crackling with threats. Zara met her with the spine she didn't have last week. Livia left muttering that the story wasn't over. She was right. Zara's revenge took a different door. Nico's appetite for other people's money didn't. It'd stop at Zara. Syrah heard him in a back room. Restaurant promising a pregnant girl an escape plan funded by Sarah's accounts. She listened to her own gullibility recited in his voice. She wanted a heart made of metal. Instead, she had one that bled easily and then burned. She set a plan on fire. The pizza arrived poisoned. The collapse was quick. The confession came quicker when the delivery boy realized how heavy handcuffs are. Sarah stood shaking in a courtroom, while the judge weighed rage against law and chose to bury her alive in years. The city kept moving. Helena wore shame like a color she never buys. Then Adrian Archer came home, the father, all iron gone soft at the edges, eyes that remembered being broke. He listened to the story and turned to his wife. Who were you when I met you? He asked. A girl with one dress and a will like steel. Don't rewrite our history to fit your taste. Helena's chest caved in quiet. She faced Zara with hands that trembled. I was wrong, she said. If you'll have us, we'll learn. 2 weeks later, in a garden with music that sounded expensive even when it was quiet, Cade knelt with a diamond that reflected pieces of sky and asked a question he already knew the answer to. Zara said yes like it was an oath. The deal Cade had chased for months landed on his calendar the next morning. Victor Kane's empire wanted to sign ink with Archer Holdings. Cade walked in ready to grip the biggest handshake of his career. And there Zara was at the head of the table. "Welcome," she said, and the room blurred into something woozy. "You're meeting my father's representative." He stared. "Your father?" "Victor Kane," she said softly. "Oil gas estates. I'm Zara Kane." He staggered back a fraction. The truth rearranged his bones. "You told me." "I told you nothing," she said. "I let you think. I was tired of being hunted by men who loved my father's signature more than my name. So I wore asphalt and watched. He wanted to be angry. The feeling that arrived was relief. He had loved her when there was nothing to gain. That made the love real enough to survive the reveal. They were married under chandeliers and vows, with Helena's eyes wet and Adrian's hand crushing. Cade's shoulder-like approval could bruise. In the photographs, Zara's smile looked like a door opening. Then came the last twist, the one that mattered. Victor died. The will wasn't a letter. It was a trap. A clause lay coiled like a snake. Zara inherited the Kane empire on one condition. She severed ties with Archer Holdings, dissolve all contracts with Cade's company, and remain single for 5 years to protect the brand. The lawyer read it twice. The room went quiet enough to hear dust move. Helena's mouth formed a prayer without sound. Adrian cursed the cruelty of dead men who tried to control the living. Cade spoke first. "We'll fight it," he said. "I don't need your father's money. I need you." Zara stared at her hands. They were steady. "He made me a price," she said softly, "and I refused to be an auction." She signed papers that would have made her the most powerful woman in 3 sectors, and then signed a refusal that left her with nothing but a husband who'd chosen her. When she was a rumor on the sidewalk, they moved into a smaller place where the view was honest. Cade rebuilt slower, sharper, without the weight of caney capital. Zara started something new. No empire, just a company that didn't lie to itself. Clean books, clean edges, no worship at the altar of family names. Helena visited with food and apologies. Adrian brought bad jokes and the kind of advice that comes from scars. On their first anniversary, a brown envelope arrived with no return address. Inside, a handwritten note in Victor Kane's hand. "If you refused me, you earned the only thing worth owning." In the lining of the envelope, a key to an account, already endowed with enough capital to seed any honest dream. Conditionless, no signature, no strings. Zara laughed until she cried, and cried until she laughed. "Even dead, he couldn't admit affection without a test," she said. "Then we accept the gift and reject the ghost," Cade replied. They did, and when people asked how they built something that refused to collapse under its own shine, Zara knew the answer was complicated but simple to say. Start by choosing each other over everything designed to price you. The city kept moving. Some nights, Zara walked the old avenue and gave money to hands that didn't want pity. She didn't tell them her story unless they asked. When they did, she kept the important part and offered it as clean as she could. Money measures what you can buy. Courage measures what you can refuse. The last time she saw Nico was on a rainy afternoon when regret made him smaller than memory. He didn't ask for forgiveness. She didn't offer it. They stood apart, 2 versions of a life that could have been. Sarah sent a letter from prison. It wasn't an apology. It was something stranger, a warning written like a confession. Don't let anger write your maps. It never tells you where the cliffs are. Zara folded the letter, slid it into a drawer, and left it there to remind her that winning is cheaper than surviving. When the lights went down at their 2nd anniversary dinner, Cade raised a glass and said, "To lies that taught us to tell the truth, to tests we didn't sign up for, to walking away from fortunes that demanded a price we wouldn't pay." Zara clinked her glass to his, and to never mistaking value for cost. They drank. Outside, the city hummed, and for once, it sounded like it was breathing with them, not against them. If you learned anything tonight, remember this. Some people love you for your shine, some for your shadow. Find the one who loves you in the dark, where names and money don't echo. That's the only love that survives the morning. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more stories like this. Raw, Real and messy in all the right ways. New fire drops next. Stay tuned.